Hello, welcome to another episode of AI Spotlight Show. We are live here at AI4 Conference here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today is the last day of the conference. We've had some amazing days with, great keynote speakers, the person of the godfather of AI, Dr. Godfrey Hinton. And today we have Professor Feli, where she actually, gave an amazing keynote, and there was a lot of takeaway. These are some of the things I'm going to share in our subsequent, live stream. And we're still in a journey of interviewing companies that are helping to support the AI solution, like I said, the AI revolution. We're speaking to so many organizations, how they are supporting different kinds of business use case to help them leverage artificial intelligence in different capacity. And we'll be talking to a different company which is providing infrastructure services in terms of helping organization in building AI solution from a server point of view. And who do we have the opportunity of speaking with today?
Yeah, thank you, Henry. My name is Jeremy Pease, and I'm the CEO of Hivelocity.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit background about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. No, appreciate the opportunity to speak with you as well. And Hivelocity, we are a bare metal cloud hosting company with over 60 different data center presences across 6 different continents, with a massive networking backbone behind all of that to be able to provide a distributed edge service to our customers, everything from streaming live videos to what we're working on now, which is the inference AI portion of, once the training models are done, how are we going to get them to an actual use case where they can distribute that to all the end customers that are going to use that product.
Wow, that is amazing. Now let's talk about Hivelocity as a company. When was the company founded? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the vision of Hivelocity.
Yeah, absolutely. Hivelocity was founded in 2002, and right now it's actually an acquisition of about 7 different companies over the last 4 years to actually bring all of those companies together that created different pieces that we were looking for in this overall how we support customers in their cloud journey. Part of them were bare metal companies, part of them were hosting companies, some of them were colocation companies, and some of them were actual cloud companies. And so it was the idea of how do we make sure that regardless of what a customer needs, how big their IT team is, how many developers they have or don't have, that they have the right cloud solution for different applications to be able to be supported by a company that can do that at a global scale and be distributed across all of these different locations to support end customer needs, and really focused on that edge piece of, again, streaming actual sports matches that come into your house, gaming that happens in the house. You really have to be at a number of locations to support that type of workload. And so that's really what we specialize in.
Wow, that is amazing. Now let us kind of, narrow down our discussion, because this is an AI conference. AI Spotlight is basically spotlighting how different organizations are helping businesses to scale in this era of artificial intelligence, or to become more productive, or to be able to gain more competitive advantage, or offer excellent services in a more flexible way, or be more faster in their, in the provision of services. Can you talk about how Hivelocity help businesses, to build AI solution, from a server point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great question. And obviously, again, that's why we're here at this conference, is to figure out how we enable that for all these different companies that are looking to get AI to end users to improve their performance. And so one of the ways that we started that journey was we started to create servers where a customer could put Llama 3.8 or Open Web AI, and they could actually spin up a server, and with one click, they could load that model onto that server and that machine so that they have a dedicated server instance to be able to run that on that is segregated, it's protected behind firewalls, and it's safe, versus using that at home. And so that's where people and companies can do that, and different companies will look at that as an option for their employees to use, because they know that it's in a critically safe environment. It's not just somewhere in the web that they're utilizing that tool and that for their AI needs. And the other way that we're really supporting them right now is there's two different pieces to this. There's the training models that are happening, that are massive compute, massive things happening, but they really don't have to have a lot of interconnectivity because all the data is there and they're all just learning at that point. The next phase of this, and why we really think our model is supportive for the next phase, is inference AI, right? How are we actually going to get this AI to end users to where they can utilize it? An example is autonomous cars. They're all across the country, but those have to be updated with different software packages on a regular basis, right? Yep. So we can create a server package that allows that to be distributed to multiple places across the United States and even then across the world, so that when those cars need to be updated via Wi-Fi, that can be done via our servers, and that can automatically go ahead and update that for them. You think about things being in your house. Again, we stream video into the house the same way. If there's artificial intelligence within, we've seen them, coffee makers or fridges or any of that kind of stuff, we would be able to distribute that to those locations, because again, it's not all in a singular location at that point. You have to be able to get it, and you have to do that at low latency. And so that's where we can really support a company's journey of being able to give them a dedicated environment, a safe environment, but also do it at a global distributed level to be able to support them to get that AI to the end users that they're trying to reach out to.
Wow. I like the fact that you mentioned about safe environment, because when you think about AI, one thing that should come to mind in building an AI solution that will be well appreciated, that AI solution should be trusted.
Correct.
Now, how are Hivelocity able to incorporate trustability or incorporate responsible AI principles in serving the enterprise customers?
Absolutely. I mean, look, that's why we've been here talking to banking customers, pharma customers, healthcare customers,
right? These are regulated environment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we can support, whether it's HIPAA compliance or PCI compliance or whatever that compliance model is that they're looking for. We can create an environment that will support that and allow them to, be within compliance of what that looks like. Yeah. What does that mean, though, at the end of the day? What does that mean for people that aren't familiar with those compliance models? It really means that we can manage an environment by putting firewalls, routers, switches, a number of pieces in place that can ensure that only the people that should be accessing that have the ability to access that. That's where it's critical. So we can put that in there, and we do everything down to whitelisting IP addresses. That literally means that those firewalls will only allow if a company wants to come in and utilize those servers and be able to put that back out. The only thing that can come in is IP addresses that company has given us. That means nobody else can get into that environment. So that's the level of protection that we can provide, so that they know what's coming in is always trusted and safe, and then they manage that from where that goes. And we know that our network connectivity to the other end, it's them responsible for them to figure out how they manage that security on the other side. But everything inbound should be fully trusted and secure for those customers.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, let's talk about a few customer use cases of current customers that are leveraging a Hivelocity infrastructure in building AI product, AI solution. Do you mind sharing them?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously can't give customer names without having that. But as I mentioned, car companies that are actually trying to distribute that and do software updates to their car fleet that's out there being autonomous, they're able to do that through server infrastructure that's dedicated like this and distributed to each of the locations where they have those cars and those services. Same thing, we have one that is a well-known basically appliance company, as I mentioned earlier, and so as they're distributing that knowledge and those software updates to those fridges or coffee makers or all of that, they utilize that within our environment to make sure that they can get that out there. And so we're continuing to build that, as we said, looking at examples for banking customers that when they come in and their customers are utilizing something and that AI engine is running at the end of the day for them to interact with banking, that, they can utilize that within our platform. It's safe, it's secure. And so we know when that customer's accessing that piece of it, that it's running on our pieces wherever they are across the world, and doing that with low latency, because Nobody likes their website to lag, and nobody wants that experience to be a challenge. So that's really the customer examples that we have right now and that we're continuing to build on.
Wow, that is great. Now, let's talk about the potential business values that potential customers will gain from becoming a customer or a partner with Hivelocity. Do you want to talk about a few of them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, that's what I call the 4 C's plus E. Okay. And it's where I try to keep it simple. For us, cost, we are able to, beat most of our competitors on cost based on the way that we structure it. Complexity, we're very simple to interact with, and we don't have a number of pieces. You don't have to bring in all these complicated developers to build that environment. Customer service. At the end of the day, we provide a great customer service experience. You have a lot of automated technologies where you can't call somebody on the phone. You got to put in a ticket. You wait to get a response. For us, 24/7, you can pick up the phone and call somebody. So we have great service behind that. So you have cost, customer service, complexity, and compliance. We talked about that, right? We can provide that compliant environment for whatever that is, whether that's healthcare being BAAs for HIPAA compliance or PCI compliance. We can provide that compliance in a very dedicated environment that it's hard for others to do. And then E, it's the edge piece. We have such a distributed network at all these different locations with a lot of global IP addresses and eyeballs that allow low latency distribution of all that. So that's really the value that we provide to our customers at the end of the day, is simplifying all those pieces and making it cost effective at the same time.
Wow, that is great. And my last question, how do you envisage how the nearest future will look like in terms of, server provision?
I mean, look, we continue to try to automate that as simply as possible. And I think one of the things we're working on the background is a self-improving cloud model. Okay. So how do we actually make sure that it's automatically going in and fixing something where somebody doesn't even have to, put their hands on that, right? It's usually identifiable if this piece goes down, like the storage, we know that we've got to be able to reboot the server. How do we do that safely? And AI should allow that to be able to happen through a step set of processes so that, again, that's where our techs would usually have to go in, figure out what's going on and identify that problem. We're talking about a self-sustaining model where it can automatically be provisioned, but it can also auto-correct itself within that environment. And I think that's really the future for infrastructure as I see it, is the AI being able to do that. I mean, think about the fact that, Microsoft put, a data center well under the sea, right? Down in the ocean. That means everything had to correct itself. Everything had to be able to be self-sustaining because nobody was going to go down there and be able to fix it. And so that's really that next generation, that next idea of how infrastructure will be self-improving and self-managing. And that's huge to customers because that is so much more an elimination of risk of downtime, because a lot of the time human failure is where, something goes down or you have an outage. And so if it's automatically correcting all of that without anybody having to be on that, that's huge for everybody in that equation.
Wow, great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks, Henry.
This brings us to the end of our interview episode with the CEO of Hivelocity. You can hear directly from the CEO from our conversation. If you are an organization that is looking for a trusted SaaS to build, AI solution for your any kind of business use case, they are able to support any kind of workload. You can see they have data centers cut across, different parts of the world. And you say 60
over 60 data center presences across the world.
That is really amazing. Then they can support any kind of business workload. If you do have a question, please do visit Hivelocity at hivelocity.com. If you have a question, definitely they can schedule a call with you. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Stevie Min Henry Onowale. There's a Spotlight Show. Stay tuned to our next interview. Today is the last day of the conference. We're still exploring how different organizations are helping to build AI solution that will help to scale business to the next level. Take care.